Hello and welcome to a snowy day in Knoxville, but Tennessee didn't let that affect them on the court. I'm Ryan Sylvia with VolReport.com on the Rivals Network. And the Vols just handed it to Florida here inside the Food City Center. Final score is going to be 85-66, and leading the way once again was Dalton Knecht. 39 points for him tonight, almost got to that 40 mark after the game. Rick Barnes joked that he didn't know that he was getting towards 40, and that it was kind of just the team trying to push him over the edge. Ultimately wasn't able to hit the 40 mark. But you're definitely not going to shake your head at 39 points. The final stat line for him is 13 for 23 shooting, but at the half, 9 for 10 shooting for Dalton Knecht. 4 for 6 on three-pointers, 9 for 9 from the free throw line. I think is something that's going to get overlooked a little bit. Very efficient when getting to the stripe. 8 of those free throws coming in the second half. Also pitches in a Tennessee high, or a personal Tennessee high, 8 rebounds in the effort as he gets up to, like I said, the 39-point mark. And where this really started to take off was late in the first half. He had 2 points at a stretch of the game with about 7 minutes to go until the halftime break. And from there, he scores 14 consecutive points for Tennessee's offense and then adds another 6 while he sandwiches 2 free throws from J.P. Estrella. Goes into the halftime break with 22 points, one of the better halves we've seen from a Tennessee basketball player in recent memory from Dalton Knecht there. And that's saying something because of the way he played last week against Georgia, the game before that against Mississippi State, going back even farther, UNC, where he also scored 39 points. It was a phenomenal game once again for Dalton Knecht. But he's getting some help, and we saw this last week as well in a double-double effort from Jonas Aidoo, where he also pitched in 5 blocks. Jonas with another really solid night as well. He's just shy of a double-double. They had him with 10 rebounds at one point on the stat sheet. Gets corrected down to 9. But a rebound away from a double-double, puts up 19 points and a team-high plus-minus of plus 22 in 21 minutes of play. Another great performance from Jonas Aidoo, who's really cementing himself as one of the better big men in the SEC. We've seen him struggle at times this year, especially when going up against some of the premier bigs in college basketball, like a Zach Edey, Hunter Dickerson, Armando Bacot. But another really solid showing from him, as it looks like he's starting to turn that corner and become more of a consistent piece for Tennessee. A little shaky against Tolu Smith at Mississippi State, but in the last 2 matchups, he has been really solid as well. So if you're Tennessee, you have to feel really good, not only about Dalton Knecht, but also your center now, Jonas Aidoo, who is kind of really finding his own on both ends of the floor. He comes up with 2 blocks again in this game, so a really solid rim protector for Tennessee. A little bit of a youth movement as well, though, for the Vols in this game. One, J.P. Estrella, true freshman, backup center, doesn't see a lot of time in SEC games. He sees the floor for 8 minutes and 52 seconds tonight, and he goes 2 for 2 from the field, 3 for 4 from the free throw line. He brings in a rebound, finishes with 7 points. Another good showing for a young guy. Definitely maybe areas to grow on from this performance, but a true freshman who's coming in, really his first taste of true SEC action. And after the game, Rick Barnes, his kind of comment on J.P. Estrella is he feels like he belongs. He could see on the floor that it looked like he belonged, and that's kind of rare for a true freshman at times when they're getting their kind of adjusted to this level. You can kind of tell visually sometimes that they don't look fully confident or fully there, or whatever it is. Rick Barnes said that wasn't really the case. It looked like he belonged. I asked J.P. Estrella the same thing. He said it felt like he belonged, and he felt confident out there, and gave a little bit of credit to Jonas Aidoo and Tobe Awaka and those guys for getting him ready to go in these situations. Another guy who's kind of saw an increase of play time in recent weeks, Freddie DeLeon, backup point guard, was on the team last year, but due to a reclassification, that's going to make him a redshirt freshman, essentially a true freshman this year, though. Freddie DeLeon, 6.5 minutes on the court, doesn't score a basket, but also doesn't take a shot. And I think that says a lot about his maturity at this point in his career, that he's not out there just looking for his. He's helping the offense kind of be facilitated. He's passing when he knows he needs to, and that ended up with him coming up with 2 assists, and he forces a steal on the night, ends up with a plus-minus of +3. So his stats don't jump off the sheet, but it felt like Freddie DeLeon had a really solid game out there. He played good defense, right? Which is something that Rick Barnes looks for in these young guys. That's how you gain his trust, is not only can you score on this end, but can you play defense on that end? And that's what Freddie DeLeon's starting to work himself up to, is a guy that they can trust on both ends of the floor. So another guy that Tennessee, Rick Barnes' coaching staff has to feel pretty good about the development of is Freddie DeLeon as he works in for Zakai Ziegler. And of course, Zakai Ziegler is going to play the majority of every basketball game. 33 minutes, 50 seconds for him tonight. Quick shout out to him. Only 7 points, but 2 for 2 shooting from the field. Ended up with 4 assists. Did turn the ball over 3 times. Now it's kind of a little bit of a flurry in the second half there where he got a little bit careless with the ball. But another good game for Zakai Ziegler as well, who takes a step back scoring, but still is very effective and contributing a lot to Tennessee winning this basketball game. Tobe Awaka as well off the bench. Didn't play a lot against Georgia. Gets nearly 18 minutes tonight. He scores 2 points, but a good effort from him rebounding, coming down with 8. Josiah-Jordan James kind of in the same boat, just 3 points. Still not maybe effective on offense, but comes down with 7 rebounds and a steal. So you have to feel somewhat good about what these guys are giving you on nights that they can't score. They're still playing well on the other end, which after every basketball game we say it about Rick Barnes, right? That's what he looks for, that's what he wants, and this is one of the better defenses in the country. So all in all, a really good effort by Tennessee, and that defensive effort leads to 29.4% shooting on the game for Florida and 22.7% shooting on 3-pointers. So if you're able to get that out of the other team, you're going to win most nights, and it gave Tennessee a nearly 20-point win. Ends up being a 19-point differential in the Vols' favor. Next up, though, hosting Alabama here in the Food City Center. And that's going to be kind of maybe the biggest SEC home game to date. You had Ole Miss come recently, but they've fallen off. Of course, Tennessee and Alabama, a fun rivalry as always. That's going to have another installment right here on Saturday. So make sure you head over to VolReport.com for the coverage leading up to that game. The Lady Vols will be in action as well against Mississippi State on the road on Thursday. We'll have coverage of that. Football season is always busy. We have a piece coming out tomorrow, names you need to know in the 2025 recruiting class for Tennessee. So if you want to be up to date on the next guys up, the future faces of the Tennessee football program, make sure that you head over and check that out as well. Baseball season right around the corner, beginning in February. Thank you guys for watching.